Well, we are right in the middle of Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want you at home to quickly think about what that means to you. Got it? Okay. Chances are the layout of your workplace did not immediately spring into your mind, but Kent went to one today where it is playing a central role. Hi, Kent.
Yeah, it is, Jana. And to be fair, the Ramsey County Emergency Communications Center, which is where I was today, has worked to center mental health crisis calls as this crisis has grown over the years. But the newly redesigned space literally puts this issue in the center of the workspace. And I got to see how and why that matters today.
911, what is addressed to emergency?
Inside the state's largest emergency communications center,
Are you on 35W?
navigating even the most basic 911 call can be a challenge.
So this is like Arden Hills or White Bear Lake area?
So when telecommunicator Mary Larson gets an even more sensitive call, she's glad she has support.
I just had some concerning information that you had made some suicidal ideation. I just wanted to check in with you.
Emily Thompson is one of Ramsey County's embedded social workers, or ESWs, who have helped navigate the increasing number of emergency calls that require a more unique skill set.
I am in love with it. It's really great to be at the center and be able to have access to everybody.
Having the embedded social workers has been a huge help. So I had a caller that was struggling with a divorce, and he didn't want to get involved with like assaults and domestics and things like that, but is trying to communicate with his wife. And so we got him over with a social embedded worker, and they were able to give him resources like for their own therapy and follow up.
Though they've been around for several years, up until recently, one call would tie up both Mary and Emily at the same time.
We would actually go to their console and plug in a headset and try to talk to the person there.
But this newly redesigned space gave social workers their own space at the center of everything.
Are you aware of any services that Ramsey County can offer you?
And it came just in time. When the program started in 2016, 911 transferred just 263 calls to the crisis team. By last year, it was nearly 3,500 calls, and this year is far outpacing that.
Since like February 14th, we've taken almost 1,500 calls.
Though that's still a fraction of the emergency calls handled here, offloading them can save lives and precious time.
These calls do not have a time limit. They do not.
Sometimes that's all that they need is a listening ear where 911 dispatchers can't necessarily sit and talk, but they still need help.
Some of them can be pretty extensive, but you know, some people just really need that extra time, and we are able to provide that for them.
And they're not just a resource for the people on the other end of the line.
Can you stop following him? We can send an officer out. We've got the license plate.
When calls don't end well, they're also more easily accessible to their peers.
Everybody loves to stop in and say hi and come to us with any questions they may have.
So if we have a really bad call and we need to breathe or talk or vent, we have that peer support.
That new layout, along with mental wellness spaces, might not seem like big changes.
That sounds like a lot. It's a lot on your plate.
But they can make a big difference at a time when everyone is struggling to keep up.
From what I can tell, you're doing as much as you can with what you have, and that's good enough right now.
Now keep in mind, this increase in crisis calls coming from 911 doesn't even include the huge influx of calls to the new 988 mental health crisis hotline. Ramsey County alone took more than 38,000 of those calls last year. So having social workers in place to take calls in both call centers can be crucial when it matters most. Jana.
And Kent, this is so critical. It's what we've been talking about since 2024 years now, having them be side by side, figuring out who should go where. And I was just curious when I was watching the call center, do social workers ever go out on calls? Do they leave in any kind of situation?
Yeah, the dispatchers at 911 and in the crisis hotline can dispatch mobile crisis teams in Ramsey County. We've talked about these also in Hennepin County. They're also in Ramsey County adding public health responders and community teams to respond to different types of calls that wouldn't involve police, but certainly are urgent and matters like that. And they're going to be adding those staff in the months to come.
Yeah, but not every call for help needs police and vice versa. So that's a good thing. Thanks so much, Kent. We'll probably hear more about this as the time goes by.